All right, welcome to Diabetes TV. I'm your host, the one and only Ali Abdul Kareem. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. All right, so today our topic is going to be diabetes and exercise, and specifically regarding weight training. So I'm a guy that does intermittent fasting. If you guys don't know what that is, it's where you push your first meal later in the day, and you basically enjoy bigger meals or basically have your meal later in the day. And what I'll do is I like to work out weights about maybe 5 times a week on an empty stomach. Now some of you might hear that and think that's crazy, that Ali, you're insane, you have no energy, you're diabetic, and you're lifting weights on an empty stomach. That's insane. Well, let me tell you something. Couple things I've been learning is if I don't have too much bolus insulin in my body running through me, bolus insulin means it's the insulin that's the rapid acting insulin. Usually we use that as diabetics for correcting high blood sugar or for a meal, whatever the case may be. Not for a low blood sugar, obviously. Insulin lowers blood sugar. I find that if I don't have any bolus insulin in my body, or I just use the amount just to correct me, and I'm fasted, the benefits are just amazing. I can actually breathe and just relax, and sometimes I forget that I'm a diabetic. And for those of you who don't know, I'm 20 years old. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I've been a type 1 diabetic for about 2 years now, and ever since intermittent fasting, I've been really reaping the benefits of not having to prick my finger and check all the time, because when you're in a fasted state and you've built the foundation for your basal insulin, you basically can enjoy that your blood sugar will stay stable in your non-feeding window. Now, in your feeding window, anything can go wrong, That's when carbs are introduced or food is introduced in your body. But obviously, you want to take care of that side too. You don't want to just have good blood sugar through your non-feeding window. Your non-feeding window means you're not eating. So when I'm fasted, I feel I have like a lot more energy. I'm not worried about my blood sugar dropping, and I can enjoy lifting weights. Put on my headphones and start working out. So that's what I've noticed with weight training. And what I really want to talk about today is I used to come into the mentality of exercise and diabetes as exercise, moving, will always lower blood sugar. And let me set this straight. I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not certified with anything, okay? So if you have any questions about your health, please discuss that with your doctor. That's the given, okay? I just share my story and my journey, and I hope you guys find inspiration and look out to people that are 20 times smarter than me. I just want to share my journey and entertain, people along the way. So to get back, I was in this period where I was in a rhythm. I talk about rhythm being so important for diabetes, and I would, wake up, sparkling water, coffee, and then I'll go hit my weights. I'll, work out legs or push day, pull day, whatever the case may be. So I'll have a blood sugar, let's say, of a pre-workout, let's say 130, okay? My workouts last an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, 2 hours max. And what I'll do is I'll warm up with some cardio, maybe like 10 minutes on the bike, stretch, and then a little bit of after that, then I'll start hitting the weights. And I try to progress in my lifts. If it's bench press, I'll try to hit a new personal record than I did last week in terms of like how many reps I did or how much weight, so I can grow muscle, build a foundation while I'm in a caloric surplus. And I've noticed that when I finish my workouts, my blood sugar is actually higher. Now, some of you might be like, oh, Ali, I already know that. That's something I've been dealing with. I've been diagnosed for a gazillion years. And some of you might hear this, you're newly diagnosed, you're like, what? This guy's doing something wrong, It's probably because he's fasting or maybe that. So I'm not an expert again. I learned that when you lift weights, higher intensity interval training, or other people might call it HIIT training, is known to raise adrenaline. Adrenaline is a hormone that I don't know much about, but when it gets released in your body, your blood sugar goes up. That could be even if a lion is chasing you and you're diabetic, your blood sugar will probably most likely go up, even if you got insulin going on. But you got to remember that the insulin can counter it with the adrenaline. So to get to the conclusion, if you're lifting weights and you notice that your blood sugar is higher in the end, mine might go up by 40 points, 30 points, milligrams per deciliter. And so basically I will bolus 1 unit to 2 unit depending on what I want to be in range after. And hopefully in next episodes I can share with you guys what benefits I've got for intermittent fasting, and obviously other things. I'm just going to talk about that. I mean, diabetes is very diverse. Some of you may not be able to do that, which is fine. So I just want to share my story, and hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Be sure to come out. I'm making sure that I'm coming out with more these podcasts and audios, and then I'm working on obviously the channel on YouTube, Diabetes TV. So thanks so much for tuning in, and just remember, when you are lifting weights and you notice your blood sugar being higher, what I've been doing is I bolus for that correction just to keep me in range after my workout. And weights tend to increase adrenaline, which in turn raises blood sugar. So that's what I got to the conclusion about. And remember, guys, I'm not a doctor, and I just want to share what's been going on. Thanks so much. I'm your host, Ali Abdul Kareem, with Diabetes TV. Thanks so much again.